Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally and I am at the RIU Resources Roundup in Sydney, and I'm meeting for the first time Andrew Shearer, sharing the MD role at Investigator Resources. Now, as I was explaining before we came on air, Andrew, I've caught up with the other Andrew over the journey, but it's nice to meet you in the role. Since you've taken over, the Paris Silver Project, of course, one of the better silver projects going around. Fill us in on what's going on lately.
Look, the main thing with the Paris Silver Project is we were advancing on the DFS late last year, but we had to put a stop on it. And whilst the silver price has gone up incredibly, so when we did our PFS in 2021, where was the silver price, we based it on Aussie $34. Currently, the silver price is Aussie $50. So silver price has gone up really well. What has happened also is we've had a lot of operational costs rise up, so the price of diesel in particular and price of labour. What we were doing was we were basing the DFS on a lot of standard parameters. And what we weren't doing was working out what other options we had to work with the project. The key one with that, for example, is water. We were basing the operation on doing DFS on what's called a dry stack.
Right.
So take all the water out of the tails, don't put a wet tails onto the tailing dam. It's a dry material, a paste that essentially goes onto the tails. It adds significantly to the capex and the opex as well. Since, whilst going through the DFS process, we have found and basically permitted enough water for the operation. So what we need to do is stop the DFS, take the dry stack out of the process.
Yeah.
We need to also look at things like putting lead into the circuit. We've got a lead resource we're not capturing at the moment. We need to look at using solar as opposed to diesel because we're totally off grid where we are. So it was all this, what I refer to as the what-if analysis that we needed to do with the operation. So that's what we're doing right now. And I think what we've also done in the meantime as well is, as you mentioned, Andrew McElwain, you've spoken to for a number of years, has retired. And he's indicated to the board that he was retired, and we went through a recruitment process. And I think we found the perfect person to do that what-if analysis on Paris going forward. So we found Lachlan Wallace. Lachlan used to be MD of Hillgrove in Adelaide Hills. Yeah. He was at Hillgrove for a long time. As he took over, he was charged with, he basically got that going again as a mine, underground operation. So he's well versed in doing exactly what we're talking about, the what if. What about if we do this? Mm-hmm. What about if we do that?
Yeah.
And he's also very well known and very well respected by the regulators in South Australia. And as we move into the permitting phase, that will be advantageous for us as well.
And there's nothing like a fresh pair of eyes over a project, and especially it sounds like an experienced pair of eyes going.
Experienced, but also happy to question.
Yeah.
He was the one that was probably, and I hate to use this word, probably the most brutal back on us in the interview process.
Yeah.
And said, well, why aren't you guys doing this and this and this and this? And we're like, okay, all right. So he was our number one candidate for that role. He couldn't start immediately. He's currently travelling around Australia with the family. He wanted to break between his previous role and us.
Yeah.
So we got him to come back early.
Yeah.
But he's already getting his feet under the table. So he's not going to start on July the 1st and try and hit the ground running. He will be, he's already looking at the data. He's already meeting our consultants. I think his wife's going to kill him. He's in the caravan at the moment working away for free. But no, he'll be really good.
All right. So I want to go back to at the start when you're talking about the actual silver price and how it's going. I mean, we all know the gold price has gone nuts, and the silver price hasn't really taken off. It's lagged a bit. It's sort of haven't really followed in the same trajectory, has it?
Absolutely, and that's a thematic that's really playing out with investors at the moment. A lot of investors looking for that silver exposure. The way you can look at that is the silver to gold ratio. So traditionally, going back even over the last 10, 15 years, it's probably closer to 60, 70 to 1. The last couple of years, it's probably been closer to 80 to 1. But at the moment, it's almost close to 100 to 1. So either your argument there is that gold's got to come down or silver's got to go up.
Yeah.
We're saying silver's got to go up, for sure.
Well, as you would. Yeah.
But don't forget, so silver has that dual sort of front to it as well. It's a semi-precious, so it does have a relationship with gold. It is, poor means gold in some respect, but it's also an industrial commodity. So we're seeing silver came off couple of decades ago with photography, when we stopped printing films and printing pictures, but it's now picking up a lot in solar cells. There's a lot of use of silver in electronics, so the industrial applications is picking up a lot as well.
All right. Yeah, well, thanks. That's a great explanation. It's one that actually I had a conversation with somebody earlier about it, and we were trying to really narrow it down. But it's nice to have another explanation about it.
Yeah. In this diagram here, we've got Paris over a sort of a 1 or 2 kilometre distance. But we've got a 15 kilometre Paris silver corridor. We've been drilling late last year at Manto and Perseus. We've hit silver. We've now done a deal with Ian Gandel at Alliance Resources on his ground. This was iron ore drilling done by Trafford over a decade ago. 5 metres at almost 500 grams a tonne silver, never followed up. So we've got access to that ground now. So we're continuing to explore in the Paris silver corridor and looking to add more ounces to Paris as well.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Make sure you stay in touch and let us know what's going on.
No, thank you very much.
All right, Andrew.
Cheers.
Thank you.